Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We're not really sure up here in the technical booth what caused the delay this morning, but we're underway finally at 9:50 a.m. This morning, this is Kathy Cunningham. Joining me today is Heather Strong. Between the two of us, we've got
20
something Scotties under our belt. So hopefully we'll provide you with a little bit of entertainment this morning and some knowledge of the game, even if it's 20 years old.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think we're delayed starting because it's so cold out.
It's freezing.
Maybe it just took them longer to get warmed up.
Perhaps. Minus 23 here in St. John's today with the wind chill, and you know there's wind chill when you live in St. John's. There's wind chill in July, for heaven's sake.
Alrighty, so we've got Team Boland throwing the yellow rocks. Team Godsland has blue. Godsland has hammer. And an open end to start this game by the looks of things.
Yeah, it's not unusual. We were talking about this a little bit last night, Heather. It seems with the 10 end games, teams are willing to take an end or so to warm up, get their feet under them, throw some open hits and draws, and then they, start, we'll say, getting a little bit more aggressive. Last night's games didn't get hugely aggressive at all, and I don't know if that's because the teams are a bit tentative on the ice. Generally speaking, before this type of tournament, the ice makers will go out and do a flood. It changes things up. Apparently, the rocks were flipped and sandpapered a little bit as well. So there's a lot of new things happening for club members here this week. I imagine they're all a little bit green.
Yes, good point. And these games are timed now too, right? So
yes, they are.
You don't play a whole lot of your league games with a time clock, so there's that to factor in as well. And never hurts to have a little extra time on the clock.
No, you're right. And also, you put all that together with the fact that many of these teams don't even play 10 end games anymore. It's rare to see it in any league because curling clubs just don't have the luxury of being able to play 10 ends. They need to be able to put 3 draws out there in the nighttime if they can. Yeah. And even when they go, teams that travel, and some of our teams do, they still don't play 10 ends when they go to cash spiels on weekends.
Right, you are. Gone are the days, Kathy, of us getting off the ice at like 12:45 a.m. after the late Super League game.
Yeah. Those days are gone. Gone are the days of playing 3 10-end games in a day at a cash spiel, too, only to find out that you've got to get up and play again at 8 a.m.
That's right.
They don't happen anymore either, apparently. I don't know how we did it, Heather.
I don't either.
Anyway, still an open draw hit game here this morning. We have another ladies' game on sheet 5 next door, which unfortunately we don't have streaming available to any more than 2 sheets here at the St. John's Curling Club. So we'll give you updates here and there. There are a few rocks in play over there. So it looks like Stacy Curtis, who is playing Carrie Vautour this morning, has decided to go all in to start this game. So we'll give you an update on that one as time goes as well. We also have 4 men's teams out there this morning as well. So on sheet 1, we've got Dave Thomas playing Kenny Saunders, and that's the Section C game. These guys have their backs against the wall. Whoever wins will stay in the program, and the other team will be at the bar later on this afternoon having a beer, I would say. Sheet 2, we've got Ty DeLillo playing Corey Shue, and I am not sure if that's a B game, so those guys still have 1 life left. And on sheet 3, we've got Nathan Young playing Simon Perry. Nathan lost in the A semi yesterday, so he finds himself down in Section B now playing against Simon Perry. And then on sheet 6 we have another Section C game, which is Parker Tipple, who's playing Randy Turpin. So we'll throw out some updates on those as well. But as always, you can get the scores on curlingnl.ca, and just click the scoreboard tab, and it takes you where you need to go or gives you another link to click, and it's fairly simple. You can go and see the scores of all the games.
We're not seeing many rocks on our sheet yet over curling, Kathy. Some of that could be the weather. The colder it is, the straighter it is.
That's true. Well, last night game, Heather, we had a straight side and a curly side. So if it's true to form today, where we see Sarah's playing the center line out shot here, this side of the ice curls more from the boards into the center, so she's taking the straight turn here on this side of the ice. It curls pretty good in turn into the center line on the in turn. So we'll see if Brooke can pick up on that, because I'm not sure she played on this sheet yesterday.
And as if clairvoyant on our part, we have our first miss.
Didn't curl enough.
Didn't curl enough. Yeah, on
It's
that straight turn.
The out turn here on this sheet is pretty straight. So we'll see how it goes. Deadly straight, actually, down the center line. Didn't curl off the line at all last night. So I don't know if that will be the same case here this morning. If the ice makers were able to do anything about that overnight, I don't know. So we'll see as time goes by. Still a fairly open game.
Chance to split the house here now, though, and lie two with hammer.
The ice is pretty fast. Something else we've been noticing in the last few days is that the players are able to drag the rocks quite a long distance.
Oh, that's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, I think
Nothing
so.
worse than sweeping from coast to coast and feling like you didn't really have any impact on the rock whatsoever. So I've been told.
So you've been told. I do remember those days. I did play third for a little while, so.
Yeah, third with me, of course.
Yes.
So.
Yep. So this is Laura's first shot.
This is her first made shot.
She missed
She was responsible for that flash.
Oh,
yeah.
was she? Aha.
Yeah.
There you go. And unfortunately, I don't know that that's stuck into the rings for her. It is close, but it didn't. Laura's an import on this team this morning. For those of you who are familiar with the Boland team, Kelly Sharp is a little under the weather. So Laura is their fifth player and has been since the beginning of the year. Sarah being located in Gander makes it really hard for her to play league games here in St. John's. So I think Laura's been their fifth person since the beginning of the year. So they're all very familiar with each other. That's the good news. Bad news is you always want your full team. I did watch Laura play last night, though. She held up her end of the bargain for sure. She played really well. Yeah. Very nice shot by Erin. They lie two with no opportunity for a double for Team Boland. Sarah will likely try and hit and eat. At this point, I think the best shot for her, Heather, would be to see if she can get a little roll and corner freeze her own here and make it a little bit harder for Brooke to remove it and count a second stone. So that would be what I would be aiming for. I mean, the other option is a very long roll over here to the deep side, closer to this blue rock, but I think that's a lot harder.
Yeah, a little flop away would be good. It changes the shot for Brooke, number one.
Yes.
And makes it a little trickier, especially if she can get close to her own rock on the tee line. Biggest thing you want to avoid here is rolling out, because then you give Brooke a chance at a free draw, getting her draw weight.
Nice shot.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Unfortunately, she didn't get the roll she was looking for, but now it's up to Brooke to hit and stick here. Does make it a little higher in the house, but I still don't think that double is going to be makeable for anyone other than maybe Kevin Martin. It's a bit flat, and it's from one side to the ultimate other side.
Now, if there's a chance at a double at all, would you take it on Sarah's last one? Or would you be a little more conservative in hopes that Brooke might roll out?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would try. I'd try it. I don't see any real difference in making her hit and stick and making her draw. But it doesn't look like there's any opportunity here in the meantime.
No.
So now is, give her a new shot.
So it looks like they're having a little discussion about the amount of ice to take. Laura did just flash here. It didn't curl much at all. So I do know that Sarah has taken a little less ice, which is a sign that Laura may have come close to the broom on her shot. And they needed a little less ice.
Mm-hmm.
So sticking here would be nice, sort of create a force. Good enough, as they say.
Yeah, good enough. That I'm right behind that one, Heather, and I watched it all the way down. Sarah really didn't have very much weight on that, and it did not curl at all.
Couldn't agree more.
Wouldn't
And there was
necessarily call that one again if I had to.
no, and there was some fresh pebble that it should have been able to grab onto too to help it curl, but very straight in that spot. They're going to want to remember that for the entire game.
Yes, they are.
So this is where both teams are kind of happy because Sarah was looking at giving up 2 for most of that end. Brooke was looking at facing 2
Yeah,
a minute ago.
yeah,
And now she's got a chance at the blank.
yeah. She's happy for sure. She is, going to want to roll out here if she can and take advantage of that miss, but not so.
No, lots of weight on that shot, but
It curled.
it curled.
It did, and she took the center line to the outside, which is the way that the ice curls here. I'm surprised she wouldn't have played the straight side, but if it backs off, maybe that's she wasn't willing to miss it twice. So there you go. We'll be back in a jiffy with end number 2. So Heather, a couple of late, hit ticks, not quite made shots in that end, and a bit of a turnaround towards the end. I mean, it was looking like Godsland was going to have an excellent opportunity to score her 2, and then in the end ends up having to take one in a situation where a blank would have been her preference.
Yes, absolutely. That's why it's so important to watch to the end. The game can really turn around on one shot here and there.
Shots here and there, exactly. We noticed that last night too. There was a couple of situations where one shot and then just completely changed around the game. Your sister was responsible for one of them, as a matter of fact. She made a run back triple and just took the wind right out of the sails of Team Don immediately, as you would, and there it went. Any
Nice.
opportunity of scoring, and until that point, it looked like there was going to be a steal of 3 happening. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Good for her. I'm sure
So
she'll be
yeah,
pleased.
there are some really nice shots being made out there. We'll see, I'm sure, plenty of them here this morning as well. So a typical start to this end with the guard placed by Team Godsland in the center and a come-around attempt by Team Boland, which came a little bit deep. Nice weight on that draw.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Team Godsland was down a sweeper on that shot. I'm sure that'll
Yeah, no, I think
fix itself quickly. But
I haven't seen Camille, so I don't know if she's out there, actually. I think they may be playing with 3. Well, they must be, yes, because Sarah's throwing the first couple of rocks. So, yeah, she's not there. We didn't see that in the beginning because we're, of course, up here in the rafters.
yes, and you know what? You play rocks, not people.
Yeah, that's true.
So I did not notice that.
Yeah.
For the first full end. I think the jury's out. I think you can make an argument either way in terms of whether or not it's an advantage to curl with 3 or a disadvantage.
I see lots of advantages. The only disadvantage I see these days is the whole directional sweeping thing that seems to be happening. And so the sweeper that is now having to sweep 5 rocks is sweeping all 5 rocks. Whereas with directional sweeping, the 2 sweepers, if you have 2 sweepers, then they're alternating all the time.
Yeah, and I guess too, there's some rules now in play that you can't switch out broom heads and you can't change brooms between players. So I imagine that sweeper that's sweeping 5 rocks, their broom head's getting kind of damp by the end of the game.
It certainly would be, yeah.
But it's an advantage to be able to throw 3 rocks in a row.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're throwing repetitive shots. Some pretty good curling. We're not getting the inside roll that everyone's looking for.
No, and that was a nice amount of weight to throw at that to try to get that roll.
So Erin Porter's in the hack now. She will throw the first of her 3 rocks for this end. For Team Godsland, an out-turn hit. Again, looking for a slight roll underneath the guard that they placed early in the end. They haven't been able to take advantage of it yet. Brooke's got her hand out, indicating to me that this is a little bit wide. That's what my skip used to do. I think it's a skip thing. I used to do the same thing when I skipped. So, yeah, it's hard to get that rock to cross over that center line, I think, Heather.
Yes. Yep. A raised center line, as they say.
So another attempt by Beth Hamilton to try and get inside roll underneath the guard.
And just as you'll often see a skip put their arm out to indicate the rock is a bit wide or not curling, I just saw Laura indicate that the weight was a little quiet on that one as it was let go. So there's some hand signals being used out there, which is important, especially with 6 sheets of curling on the go. But even with that quieter weight, we didn't see the inside roll.
Didn't roll anyway. And sometimes though, when you say to the skip that it's quiet, they'll often say, well, put your broom down and keep it there for a bit. And unfortunately, in that case, it did straighten it up a little bit. It didn't get any curl. So an attempt by Aaron to get the curl underneath again, and doesn't look like it's going to happen. This time we're going to roll further away, which, here we go. This point, we've removed the rock from the center line area, so we might get a roll this time.
That's right, and we can get a little deeper into the rings
Yep.
on the larger roll than you could on just a little flop.
So a good chance for Laura here to change the water on the beans, maybe. Get that roll underneath the center guard.
The left-hander's in turn, so that's working in her favor as well. In turns tend to curl a little more than out turns.
Trying to get it to carve over. No, it didn't. Just didn't want to move. A little bit more weight than the girls were throwing on the center line, but that may have been on purpose. You can see. No.
We're on the same side of the sheet as the away end that wasn't curling from the inside out. Now we're trying to get curl from the outside in, and we're still not seeing it.
No,
Straight side,
it
period.
is kind of straight, isn't it? And now she's changed the turn here, Heather. I don't know if you saw that, but she is going to call the inside out shot now. So it's a bit of a change of
Line.
yeah, change of the line. So she's we're definitely getting curl because I can hear her screaming out to. I can hear her screaming for Sarah to sweep. Ah, here we go. Here we go. The elusive hit and roll has been made. Nice shot by Aaron.
Yeah, very nice shot by Aaron. And like we said, there's your third rock in a row. Same shot.
Yep.
Maybe a different turn, but in essence, the same ask of a hit and roll.
Yeah.
And by the third one, she had perfected the neck.
Yeah, so there you go. A point in the favor of three-man team.
There you go.
So a run back for Laura here on her second shot. She wants to come in contact with the rock that's just rolled underneath this guard. So at the very worst, she'll peel or want to peel it off. But it's a run back call. Not getting any curl there doesn't surprise me. That's exactly where we didn't get any curl last night. So she did make the peel. Could have come around all that, hey, Heather?
You could.
I mean, she does have last rock. And they were staggered. Might have been food for thought for, come around before the other team does. Bit defensive. It's only the second end, but I think I would have liked a draw around. You're not going to get too many opportunities to score two by trying to double peel on your third's last rock or a run back like that. It is the second end. It's not a bad end to score.
Now, Brooke has asked for this shot to be in the 4-foot. So she is setting up a double by grouping her stones. I'm a little surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, a draw to the wings to the high 12-foot on the opposite side of where she's already got a rock would have been a better call, I think, to force the point. Or, maybe she's just trying to make shots more difficult for Sarah, but she's essentially given Sarah a hit and roll behind now. And so if she makes it, Brooke has made her own shot a lot harder by grouping these. So an out-turn hit, and I'm sure she wants this roll.
Yes.
So what's she going to do differently that they haven't been able to do so far this end?
Well,
That's a good question.
yeah, she's not taking very much ice.
No.
And I would imagine she'll keep her weight kind of quiet and let the sweepers do the heavy lifting here.
Yeah, I mean, from her delivery, I would say it's a down control kind of weight, but it's not hack by any stretch. But they are sweeping, so she's getting curl.
Yeah,
Oh, nice shot.
very nice.
Might peek out the other side, but that's a very straight side. I'm not sure that that's an easy shot to make, but nevertheless, that is what Brooke is going to do.
Well, this is the bed she made on her first one, isn't
It
it?
certainly is, yes. Absolutely. Yep, that's right. If you draw on the 4 foot, you better get it buried.
While Brooke gets in the hack to throw this rock, I'll just let you know that on sheet 1, Dave Thomas is up 3-0 over Kenny Saunders. Scoreless on ice 2. Nathan Young is up 1-0 over Simon Perry. And Parker Tipple has a 3-0 lead over Randy Turpin.
So, an intern hit here, lots of sweeping going on, lots of yelling going on. It's a hard sweep to keep this from curling. What a great shot.
Very
What
nice.
a great shot. And a great sweep by Sarah.
And no roll away.
No, it's tough now for Sarah. She's
draw.
Sarah Boland. I mean, she's got to look at a double or a draw for one. I mean, she could play the same shot that Brooke just played, but that was scary to watch.
Yeah, I'm trying the double.
I would be a little bit afraid. You're trying the double for one. I'm drawing the 4 foot for one.
Yep.
So I don't think she can make this double and roll away. Well, she probably can. Yeah, she can. She can go over the top and make the double and roll away. But yikes.
Yeah, I'm not trying the double for the blank. I'm trying the double to make the double and give up just the 1 point if I miss the double.
I see. I'm drawn for one in the second end to take my point, tie the game. Let's see what happens. She's definitely calling the hit. She's not drawn for one.
Her 2 shots in the first end were both hits, so she might be a little nervous about playing the draw against 2.
That could be the case. Absolutely right.
But you only need to make 8 foot to give up the steal of 1 and
That is true.
get your draw weight.
You don't want to be testing your draw weight when you're drawing against 5. That's for sure. I'd be taking it here, I think. We've had a fair amount of play down the middle, so I don't see the draw being too difficult. But Sarah has other ideas. It's not my call, is it?
That's right.
So here we go. In-turn double for a point. I hear some pretty harsh sweeping calls going on down here, so we've got to go hard for a piece of the top one. Oh, almost got the back. Almost got the back in the blank, actually, but she does end up giving up a point. So after 2 ends of play, we've got a 2-0 score for Godsland over Boland, and we'll be right back.
All right, so here we are. Start of the third end. Sarah Boland's team remains with hammer, down 2. First rock of the end by Godsland was called into the rings. She's not interested in scoring a ton of points this end. She wants no guards in play so she can keep it open. So Sarah called that corner guard on the first lead rock of the end for Adrian. That is the side of the sheet that we discussed doesn't have a whole lot of curl away or toward center. So I'm surprised a little bit that she went that turn with her corner guard, but nonetheless, there it is. Nice rock to hide behind later in the end. And now Brooke is looking for a guard, but she would like this tight to the house. Indicating it might be a little bit heavy. I think the miss here, being up 2 points, is to slip into the rings as they did. But it does give Sarah now an opportunity to hit this rock. Adrian won't be entirely pleased with that shot. She's happy to have removed 1 rock from the ring. However, down 2 points, you definitely want your shooter to stick around. They might need to drop the weight a little just to be sure that they give the sweepers an opportunity to carve those hits in and make better contact.
Absolutely, Heather. I think at this level of curling, you're never really that pleased with yourself. You don't make the shot. But it's also really important to know what the tolerance is on every shot that you're throwing. So guard placement opportunity here for Team Godsland, and it's a pretty nice shot, actually, Heather. I mean, from the top level overview, looks like she's got about half of it buried. So
yeah, it certainly makes the shot now for Beth a little bit more challenging, but she does have a rock that she can roll behind. She hits what she can see.
So this spot last night was curling really, really hard. So we'll see how this goes.
Staying true to form by the looks of things.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Now the call was board weight.
Not sure we had exact. Well, it was close.
Not bad.
No, it was close. She did remove it, which is she allowed? Yes. Okay. Yeah, because it was the 6th rock. So yes.
Pro side miss, I guess, in the sense that she did leave another guard out front, and
Yeah,
they
she
need
did.
guards.
Yep. She's got a couple of corner guards there if she can get an opportunity to play under them. So, replacement to the guard here by Team Godsland is the goal. For Erin, she's just thrown it, so she should be able to do it again. Not a lot of ice for a guard placement. A couple of inches off the 4-foot, so this is definitely a straighter side, Heather.
I was thinking the same thing. She's taking the same ice for this guard as Sarah took with the other turn for the board weight
Yeah.
hit that overcurled.
Right. And I just noticed Sarah McNeil Lambswood just turned over to the other side to make that curl. So there's definitely not a lot of curl there for sure. Nice placement of the guard, though, a little bit better this time. So she's really directly on top of it. It's a bit tighter, so the run back, as you saw Sarah indicate there, is available to her. But the guard placement line wise is perfect. They didn't get the curl on that one that they had on the first one. Definitely a lot more weight on Beth's behalf there. But it just didn't curl as much as the other shot. So maybe with the higher weight, it doesn't get as much. Well, it definitely won't, in general get as much curl, but that big curl that we saw didn't seem to happen with that weight.
No, a weight-sensitive spot in the ice, as we say.
So for the third time, Erin gets to play the same shot.
Guard placement is often tricky. However, it is a little easier when the ice is so straight. Great weight choice.
So Laura's going to attempt this run back this time. There is an opportunity for Heather to get, or for Laura to get some action off of her corner guards, I think, too, if she doesn't curl enough. But, oh, that was so close. So the yellow rocks are piling up on the corner guard side here, but
Yeah, it's looking less likely that we're going to see.
Once again, we're going to
Yeah.
throw this outturned guard.
That's right.
So this is Erin's third attempt at this outturned guard. The first, I gave her credit for one of Sarah McNeil Lambswood's guard, but so this is
fifth attempt
five
by the
times.
team.
Yeah, 5 times throwing the same shot. Oh, well,
Yeah,
I
that's a
think,
miss.
I think Erin is not going to be too happy with herself over that one because she's just given the Boland team an opportunity to get out of this problem that they've had since the beginning of this end.
And we did see a bit of an over curl too.
Yes, it
Now
did.
It traveled further into the ring, so
Yeah. So it's up to Laura Strong now to save the day. I don't think she can make the double and roll under. I'm not sure that the roll under is available to her in any case, but and it didn't curl enough.
no.
And that's no big surprise, is
That's
it?
been the story of the game so far,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
And on in that particular spot, if you look at how much ice you can see there where Erin has her broom, how much ice they're giving to actually guard this shot, and how much ice Laura had to make a double on the nose. I'm not sure that it was makeable with that ice and that weight. So, they're actually, I don't know, maybe they're not quite picking up how straight it is. But that was too bad. Bit of a missed opportunity there for Laura. And, here we go again for 6th time this end. This team is throwing the same guard. That's a little slice of heaven if you're on this
Yes.
team, isn't it?
Up 2 and
Yeah.
six attempts at the same guard.
Yeah.
Whenever you're distracting the team that's down 2 from offensive calls,
Yes.
it's a good day.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. With that rock in the top 8 foot. Otherwise, she's going to be trying to outdraw it. Pretty good attempt there. She didn't quite get the shot that she wanted, Heather, but she's definitely opened up her draw at this point. Now, where unfortunately for Sarah Boland is it's not her turn to shoot. So
Yeah, it's better than it was before she threw, but she's certainly still in some trouble here. And the most points she can get this end is one.
making that draw for one in the last end look really good now, isn't it?
I'm kind of in your camp. Yeah.
I'm winning over here. I'm winning over here. So an out-turn draw around to lie two for Brooke Godsland, and she's in the hack going, thank you, God, because effectively she doesn't even need to make this shot, and she's forcing Sarah to one. So
That's right.
whatever she can do to make this shot or the next shot as difficult as possible for Sarah Boland is what she should be doing.
They're taking this deep now. It's a
And they
little
should,
heavy.
because otherwise they're going to give her well, they've given it to her, haven't they?
Yeah,
She doesn't have to be exact.
certainly wasn't the way you want to miss that shot.
No, short would have been better because it forces a different line, a different path for this draw. But this is a pretty open draw to the 4-foot, and if I'm Sarah Boland right now, I'm a pretty happy little girl.
And if you're Brooke, you have to shake off the fact that that wasn't a well-executed final rock, but at the end of the day, it's still a force.
Absolutely, absolutely. So out turn draw. She needs to hit the white paint full in the 8-foot. Piece of the 4. If you're the sweepers now, you're probably trying to make this a draw to the button for your skip. Give her a good idea of what draw weight is. Excellent, excellent shot. Perfect T-line weight. 1 yellow for Team Boland. So at the end of 3, we are 2-1 for Godsland over Boland. And Godsland has the hammer in the next end. We'll be right back. So in our 30-second break, we are analyzing the situation for Team Boland and Team Godsland, and unfortunately, we're not in Team Boland's camp too much. We're both talking about the draw in the second end, where she gave up the steal, trying to play the double instead of drawing to the 4-foot, and she clearly had 4-foot weight in her pocket, so she was forced to do it this end, and there you go. I mean, she does make it, but she's placed herself a little bit against the wall. She's down 1 without last rock, and she's got some work to do. So you see the center guard go up. While we're here, we'll just give you a little update of what's going on in other news here. On the men's side of things, on sheet 1, Dave Thomas is winning over Kenny Saunders. The score is 4-1 now. Ty DeLello has stolen a point against Corey Shue, so they are also up in their game 3-0. Nathan Young and Simon Perry are duking it out. They're still in the third end, and it's tied at 1. And Parker Tipple is up 3-1 over Randy Turpin. Looks like Parker has last rock at this point. In the other women's game, they blanked the second end, so it still remains 2-0 for Curtis over Team Vautour. And here we go. And a come around to 10 is pretty good. It's edge on edge, I think, Heather, from this vantage point.
Yeah, now Sarah's opted to play the hit on this. I don't know if maybe a freeze might have been an option.
Freeze tap even? Like if you don't like where it is, you don't have to push it all the way out of the end, out of the rings.
Especially without hammer. I mean, you certainly don't want to remove your own guard, but you don't want to hit this and roll out.
And I think I would be, definitely looking at playing a little bit quieter weight. If you want to remove the shot, that's fine, but you can do it with less weight, more control, and make sure you stick your shooter. Because now you've just given the advantage right back to Team Godsland to, come around.
Perfect that come around, yeah.
Exactly.
My gosh, it's so easy from up here.
Isn't it? If it was only that easy when we were playing. Although I'm sure our coaches would have said the same thing.
Yes.
So easy from behind the glass. So the line on this looks to be almost identical to the first one. It just doesn't seem to want to curl in around, come up over that central line. You're right about it. Maybe it is a little high. And that sometimes happens with a lot of scraping.
They've asked for hack weight on this shot, so really interested in sticking around.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot difference in the ice that was given to the shot, though.
The weight as it comes over the hog looks very close to hack.
Yep, she's going to stick her shooter this time. Good shot. Didn't curl much still. Don't know if she got it a little bit wide. Not sure because we can't tell on the line up here. But it definitely was either too much ice or she got a bit outside for that kind of weight. But she's done her job. She's stuck around. That's important. And changes the water here for them and forces the hit. Now, Brooke has last rock here.
She could have ignored this
She
shot.
could.
Yeah.
She absolutely could. She could have ignored it. She could have gone around it. She could have frozen it. She could have played a tap back. She had lots of options to keep her rocks in play, and she's done virtually the same thing that Sarah did. Played an upweight hit that didn't stick in the rings, and now she's giving the advantage back to the other team. You take the weight down a little bit, make sure you stick around on that, and you get better results.
Yeah, you distract Team Boland with having to remove the rock of the team that has hammer.
Yep.
Whereas now they're gone on the offense here with a come around.
Yeah, and
attempt.
Sarah's, you'll see there as well that Sarah's gone over to the other side now, so she's playing the side that curls a bit. Asking Beth to play an out turn come around their own guard, and if she's successful here, she's really taking full advantage of that miss.
Nice shot there by Beth Hamilton.
Yeah, that's a great shot, actually. Nice and high in the rings. If you're not going to be in the 4-foot, you don't want to be in the back 4. So a great shot. Brooke's going to call the run back. She doesn't need to, but she is. She's up a point with last rock, and if she doesn't score here, I don't think she cares as long as she gets an opportunity to blank. She doesn't seem to want to mix it up. She didn't call the come around on the last one, and she's not calling it here. So she's content with her 1-point lead and her hammer. Reasonable result.
Yeah, I mean, she's left a center guard and left an opponent's rock in the rings.
So her force is on for Sarah Boland. She can place her rock so as to not set up a double here. She will force Brooke to 1 point, which is her goal.
And there's an opportunity for a steal here, too.
There
She
is.
makes this really well and full forfeit.
Absolutely. In a 10 end game, Heather, you usually get 1 or even 2 momentum swings just by virtue of the length of the game. It's hard to keep your concentration for that long. And we often see one at least 1 and sometimes 2. This would be a real coup for Team Boland if they can actually steal a point here. They'd tie the game. They'd take back the even ends. There's a lot to be gained by it. Unfortunately, they didn't get the curl they were hoping for there, but they do lie too, and that double's not easy. So I think the call here is to hit and roll under as opposed to trying to make anything fancier.
Yep, I agree with you. And again, it's been a little frustrating to watch in terms of the fact that no rocks are over curling. We're not seeing any ticks on any guards.
No. Only on the tap back hits down the other end. We did have a couple of ticks that Laura had one that overcurled, but that was it.
They were the exception, not
to your point.
Yeah.
One shot in 4 ends that actually overcurled. So there's not a huge amount of curl out here for sure.
Well, I would almost say this one grabbed something.
Could have, or commentator's jinx.
Yeah. I had a pretty good line on that shot, and it uncharacteristically curled.
Did it? Okay. So we'll say it picked up something.
Yeah.
That's an unfortunate situation there. You never want to see that happen. But Sarah's chomping at the bit here now. If I was her, I'd be like up there putting up that guard so fast to make your head spin.
I would not be hitting third shot.
Definitely not be hitting third shot. Definitely not. No. So someone down at the other end needs to talk her out of hitting that. There we go. Looks like your sister came to the rescue there. Well, I'll give her the credit.
This is a lot of ice for that guard, but
I think on this side.
You think we're okay?
Yeah, I do. Seems to curl to the yellow rock, and then it doesn't seem to go too much further
across the line.
But I think it'll go there. So they will want this about halfway, I think. Halfway, not tight, but between halfway. So a 2.5, if you want to, if you
do
use the number system, 2.5. It's a pretty good shot. There's a piece of it open, but it's on the straight side. I don't know if you want to be going after that. We'll see, but a really good guard placement by Laura and a good call by the whole team. Whoever decided that was the call to make, I think we're definitely on side with that 100%. Now, Brooke is a bit puzzled, I think. What do we do? You could try the run. You might get 2.
Yeah, I would definitely be removing that center guard. There's no harm in trying to catch something yellow in the rings on the way through.
I agree.
As long as you're removing the center guard, you're occupying the opponents with replacing it.
I would be playing it over across the top of the top yellow rock. I would definitely be hitting the front, I think, and try to pick the yellow rock that's in the 12-foot off at the same time. A little tricky because your blue one's over there too, and you do risk coming off the back of it and leaving them lying 2 or 3 in the end. But I do think that the rock that's going to hurt you here is the center guard.
That's right.
You got to open up the 4-foot so that you've got a shot for your last one. And let's not forget, she still has a shot. The whole button is available, so. And I say that like the button is huge, but it is available. And if you're a skip, you got to be able to hit it. Well, that was a bit of bad luck.
That's
She
bad luck.
didn't
That
pick
was
anything on the way, but she did move
well
the
thrown
guard.
rock. Yep.
She did move the guard, so that's, that's not the end of the world. She still has the button available to her. I think Sarah has to replace the guard. I don't see any other shot for them. And if things keep going this way, Brooke will have a draw to the 4-foot on the in-turn side.
Now, Sarah has the same ice as she had given Laura for the same shot.
Mm-hmm.
You are looking at a right-hander versus a left-hander, so it'll be interesting to see if we get the same amount of curl for Sarah that we had for Laura. Laura's trying to indicate a little less ice, maybe, but she got shot down.
Yep. And that's a
Familiar.
it's a, yeah, well, it is familiar, but what it also is I'll say this is until I curled with you guys, I didn't have a left-hander on my team, and I didn't realize the difference between a left-hander's in-turn and a right-hander's out-turn. And that there is a significant difference in the amount of curl and where it arcs. So, aren't we bad? That was never the call. Looked like they were going all the way
Or
in with
was
that
it-
the whole
did
way,
they-
did they not?
Did they plan B it when they knew the weight was up?
Could be.
early? That's
Could
my
be.
guess. I really think the call initially was the center guard. I hope, for their sake,
Yeah.
that it was the center guard.
That's not a bad shot in the meantime. She did cover a little piece of that yellow rock, so I don't think Brooke can get an inside roll.
No, but
She can roll over.
away.
She can roll
Exactly.
under the other one and still be shot.
Yeah, this is
So yeah, I would like to say that was not the call for Sarah's rock. I don't think they would have wanted to leave this yellow rock wide open like that.
yeah, and actually they swept it fairly hard toward the end there and exposed more of this back rock in so doing. So I don't know if that was
I don't think they needed to be third shot,
no.
and that may have been the goal, not realizing that they were pulling it off.
The guard
off
line,
the guard, yeah,
path,
pulling the line. The more they swept, and they should have realized, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that.
Very nice shot.
Yeah, that is a lovely shot. It's a tough run, but makeable. The blue rock is kind of the blue guard is kind of in her line of sight. But it's a makeable shot.
So we don't know their weight choice here, but you have to think that they're not going to throw a whole lot of weight at this. Let their sweepers hold the line.
Doesn't have a lot of ice though.
No shortage of weight here.
No, it looks like decent control weight though. I don't think she's overthrown it. No, that's very nice.
Very nice.
That's very nice. I don't think she could have done any better than that. And that's, her goal was to force one, and it looks like she's done what she can. And now Brooke has to decide where she's putting the broom for a draw for one, or is she going to hit?
Looking like the hit at this point. She just threw a hit, albeit the other turn.
They do know this. This is where Aaron made the hit and roll a few ends back.
I am surprised by this, though, Kat.
Me too.
Yeah.
I am totally surprised. I think this is a skip that's not confident in her draw weight, maybe, or maybe not confident that the ice is consistent in certain places. I'm not sure, but it wouldn't normally go after this hit. It would be a draw, full 8, top 4.
Yeah, I mean, if you bite a piece of the white, you're giving up a steal of one. Worst case, you have to be able to
And she is up 1, so
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to give up. You don't want to give up 2, and I think the only
Nice
way you're giving
weight
up 2
choice on this shot. Shouldn't roll out with the weight she's chosen
if
unless
it curls enough.
she only gets a piece. Or go.
Ergo, the draw. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the same thing could have happened with the draw. I just think the draw is a higher percentage shot, especially on this ice, which we've been talking about since we came here this morning. Is it's tricky. There are spots where it curls, there are spots where it doesn't, and it seems to be very sensitive to weight and release. So, I don't get that. But look, I'm not out there, and I don't mean to be offensive to anybody, but I feel that the higher percentage shot there was definitely the draw.
And I agree. We'll be right back.
Big turn of events there, Heather.
You talked about momentum shifts,
Yeah.
and there was one, my friends.
I talked about 1 point for Boland and thinking that she'd be putting herself back in the driver's seat. She scores in the 4th end. She ties up the game when she wasn't able to do so on her own last rock. And here you have, out of nowhere, a score of 2, a steal of 2, putting Boland really back in the driver's seat going into the 5th end. A tough situation for Team Godsland, who, I'm not sure that they have full control of the game, but I was feeling that they had a little bit more control of the game than Team Boland did until that moment.
Yeah, I felt like Boland's team up until this point has been playing more challenging shots. Brooke has been putting a lot of pressure on them and has had easier shots.
Yeah.
Which is what you always want to have.
Absolutely.
You talk about that 3rd end where they played 6 guards in a row. I mean, that's a dream. But in any case, Brooke had a challenging shot, a hit against 3 in the 4th end, and didn't quite curl up enough for them.
Yeah, and I maybe her deep draw in the end before that gave Sarah the opportunity to take one was in the back of her mind, and that's why she didn't want to play the draw again. We will never know. It's all guesswork up here in the commentary booth, but
we did talk about there being distinct advantages to playing with 3 in the sense that you have your front end players being able to throw 3 rocks each. One of the disadvantages is that you don't have a second sweeper to judge the weight of the draw.
That's true.
So maybe that was part of their decision too, was leaving Aaron alone to do all the judgment and sweeping on a draw against 3.
Yeah.
They didn't want to take that on if they didn't have to.
Perhaps not. It seems to be working for them so far that their sweeping is okay, though. I don't know. Anyway, either way, we can speculate all day. You still have to make the shot that you call, and unfortunately for Brooke, she wasn't able to execute it. It's too bad. Pretty open end here.
Yeah, clean end so far.
And, Sarah was just given a gift Sarah Boland was just given a gift, so maybe she's decided that, let's settle this down a little bit here now, and we'll play an open end if we can. And she's got the first rock advantage, so she gets to come into the rings. I didn't see the call, so I'm not sure if it came into the rings on purpose.
And I don't know either. There's two schools of thought on that. Like
Yeah.
you said, settle things down, take advantage of the fact that you got a gift, and just regain some composure in an odd end. But if you've rattled your opponent,
Good time to rattle
sometimes
them again.
keep your foot on the gas.
I heard your
Something
butt
you're
coming.
famous for.
I heard that butt coming, Heather, and I agree with you. I was always a proponent of keep the pressure on. When the pressure is on, keep it on. And when you see the opponent or your opposing skip miss a shot like that, rattle her composure a little bit, and you've got an opportunity to do it again. I was usually game for that. But there's two schools of thought there. You can play it either way. If Sarah's feeling that her own team needs a chance to settle down, then that's not a bad call either.
That's right. I can't imagine either team is in time trouble. They've certainly both got lots of experience with playing games on the clock.
Yes.
So I don't think this is a move to bank more time.
No, I would agree with that. I don't think we can't see the time clocks from where we are, but this has been a fairly quick game all in all. There hasn't been any huge discussion about what to do and what not to do because the obvious shots have been presented. So we haven't had too many discussions. That's what burns up your clock. So a pretty clean end, a back and forth situation.
This is a good opportunity for me to share my epiphany with you.
Okay.
We've seen some success over the years and surrounded ourselves with talented players.
Yes, we have.
But my gosh, we're even better than we give ourselves credit for, and here's why.
Okay.
Most of our career,
Yes.
we did not know about directional sweeping.
No, we did not.
And we were often asking our teammates to sabotage our shots
Yes.
for the full 20-odd seconds after it
sweeping.
left our hands. We also, not only were we asking them to sabotage our shots, we gave them, or they had, brooms that could effectively ruin shots
Yes.
the entire time.
That's true.
Isn't that
It
fascinating?
is. It's amazing, isn't it, when you think about it? Yeah, it is. I've seen that a couple of times, and I have some pictures of my husband with the big hair brooms and the great big wide ones. The ones that were probably
Yeah.
8 inches wide. And when Jeff put the broom down on the ice, he made it move, or he straightened it up. Either way, I don't know how they didn't, as you say, sabotage more shots, but I guess they called it that way. You do get used to how much ice you need and how much is going to curl.
We played games. We're both old enough to have played games where our sweepers were both on the same side of the rock
Yes.
and never moved,
No.
never
No.
switched sides.
No.
So they were, like I said, sabotaging shots for a full 10 ends, game in and game out. And none of us were.
None the wiser.
Yep, that's right.
None the wiser.
And yet successful in spite of that.
In spite of it, yeah. And too, in spite of the fact that we did not have lively rocks and lively heads to deal with. So
This is true, too.
when you made a double, you made a double.
That's right.
Right? You made that.
you
That was
moved
a good
80
shot.
pounds of
You
granite.
moved 80 pounds
Yeah.
of granite, 20 feet. Yeah. Thanks for the pat on the back there, Heather.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny. We have some old video of games that we've played over the years, and I can remember in particular sliding out with the hammer brooms, the ones that made all the noise. They were plastic, very thin or very hard plastic, the kind that makes a lot of noise.
That's right.
And it was a bit of a struggle when we first started with those brooms, just to figure out how to actually cut the noise out of your head.
Yeah.
To know that you were on the right track. Eventually you get used to it, but it was funny. And I look at some of the brooms that the curlers today are using, and they're silent.
Yeah. No, a lot has changed. Some of it for the better. I'm not sure all of it.
I do think the game is it's a professional game now, in my humble opinion. When you watch the teams that play at the Grand Slam level, they don't miss anything. And how do you improve beyond perfection?
Mm-hmm.
And we've almost reached that point. If you look at teams like Mowat, and they're talking about Bruce Mowat's team a lot this year, and Rachel Holman's team. They're so good at being able to make shots out of whatever you throw. And let's face it, that's where the difference has always been, in the talent of the thrower. For years and years and years, it was always about the talent of the thrower. And now it's more, and this is my opinion, get that rock in the ballpark and the sweepers can make it magical.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what's creating the perfection in the game. More perfection, not all of it, but more perfection in the game. And I don't know how you win
The
anymore.
talent of the
Yeah,
thrower.
I don't know how you win anymore. And I think that the equipment, the ice, the rocks, it's all taking away from raw talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's equalizing. And that, they used to say bad ice was the great equalizer. I would suggest to you that better ice, better equipment, and faster, livelier rocks could also be
An equalizer.
an equalizer. That, and the fact that the ice is the same. The ice is perfect.
Well, when
As
you're talking,
perfect as it can be.
when you're talking about there, while we're talking about this, we see Brooke made a nice draw there, so
Yep.
she does have her draw weight.
She does.
When we're talking about who has hammer in the first end of a 2+ hour game being critical,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we've got a problem.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And that's, you can hear the commentaries as well. If you listen to the Grand Slam over the weekend, I heard a number of times, I heard Jennifer Jones and Kevin Martin say, well, if they don't make this shot, it's pretty much game over. And I can remember watching it
And
and
it's
saying,
the third
that is
end.
the second end.
Yeah.
How can the game be over? But it is.
Yeah,
And it's because they've created this perfection that they need to figure out how to get rid of some of it.
that's right.
And how they do that, I don't know.
Let's change the length of the sheet.
Well, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. But yeah, they've got to do something.
So Sarah executed a nice hit and stick, and I always like it when it's an open end like that. I always like to make sure I stick around so that Brooke has to roll out. This was similar to the first end of the game. Brooke had an opportunity to hit and roll out for a blank, and she nosed it.
Yep.
Remember that? So here we are in the fifth end with a similar opportunity for a blank.
This is an important blank for her. She needs to have control of the sixth end if she can get it. And, the way to do that is to blank it. Also, you never really want to have to take one. And you certainly don't want to have to take one in the odd end. We talk about the even ends. We'll get into that in the next end, because this, as we watch this shot come down. But it's an advantage going into the last half of the end, or the game. Nice shot.
Nice shot.
Well done, well executed. Blank end, 3-2 for Boland after 5. We're going to take a short break.
It's on their jackets, but
Okay. So welcome back, everyone. Fifth end break is all done and over with. We have a 3-2 lead for Team Boland over Team Godsland. Team Godsland was successful in their attempt to blank the fifth end to retain hammer in the sixth. This is really important. We said we were going to talk about it, so we'll give it a minute here. Heather, the sixth end, the all important sixth end, it gives now it theoretically gives Team Boland three hammers Team Godsland. It gives them three hammers to Team Boland's two hammers. If you go, 6, 8, and 10, Team Godsland should have last rock in those three ends. If they are successful in being able to score in 6 and then force in 7, score in 8, force in 9, and then they should be having an opportunity to win the game coming home. I mean, this is the theory.
That's the perfect world scenario. Yeah,
That's the
right.
theory. So, very good for Brooke to get the blank in the fifth end. It was really important to swing the momentum back in her favor, which, at the end of the fourth end certainly wasn't the case.
And execute two perfect shots.
Yeah.
She made a nice hit and stick on her first.
Draw
on her
yeah.
first, and then the hit and roll out on her second. So from a confidence standpoint too, well executed fifth end for Godsland. Having said that, usually our fifth end breaks, we spent a little bit of time reflecting on the score and saying at the start of the game we would be happy with where we are now. And I think you'd get a yes out of both teams.
I think
it's a
so.
tight game.
Yep.
Lots of curling left.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got the center guard. We've got some rocks in play.
Yeah, that shot selection by Boland is an indication that she's trying to flip the hammer and create a steal opportunity. Otherwise, she might have played the hit on what she could see of Sarah's come around.
Yeah, and I think there is a guard in play, so she's gonna try and use it if she can, and she might be looking at the sixth end the same way we are, in that it is important for her to score here too. So maybe she's going hard for the steal, to try, and flip, like you say, flip the hammer back in her favor. We'll see. I think she's got to play the double here now, though. Yeah.
Roll in front's not terrible.
No, it's good. It's good. I think the double there's an opportunity for the double to stick it right behind the guard. But to your point, there's also an opportunity to roll to the top four and have that blue rock behind her own, which is a little bit of protection for her too. So there's a bit of a very quick sweeping call going on here. Let's see what's going to happen here. Well, very nice shot.
Very nice. I would say of all 8 curlers on the ice, Beth Hamilton has found the most curl.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
Yeah.
Very good shot.
I don't know if it's part of her release, but it could certainly be a weapon, and in that instance there, it certainly worked in their favor.
That's a nice shot. Brooke is trying to release that back blue rock, I think, Heather, and looks like I thought that I saw her indicate sort of a back 4, back 8 type of weight. She doesn't have a lot of ice, but this is the straight side, so she wants to keep 2 blue rocks in play. Of course, she would like to score 2 this end. And the only way that she's going to be able to do that is if she releases her own back rock from behind that yellow one, because that is in an excellent position and certainly has cut down her scoring area right now. That is a nice shot.
Very nice.
That is a beautiful shot, actually. And, it doesn't look like it is to some viewers, I'm sure, because they've left yellow as the shot rock now, which is belonging to the other team from the Godsland's perspective. But it is a really nice shot. She's put her shooter in a great place. It's ideally set up. You can hit that blue rock almost anywhere now and remove that yellow. So Sarah's goal here is to do virtually the same. She would like to unlock that yellow rock now, tap it probably 4 or 5 inches, and sit on the inside of the blue one so that there's no run up. But we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, she's just indicated a hack weight, so
Yep.
interesting that she would play hack in that she runs the risk that her own yellow is going to leave the rings.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe an easy hack wouldn't be a bad shot. But this isn't curling because you can see Adrian trying to make it curl. Might stick. It does, but it's not of much use to her all the way over there.
Well, I'd question why she needed to remove her own yellow completely.
No, she didn't need to. And no, she definitely didn't need to. Was that the call? Was it just, was it too much weight? Because they were trying to make a carve, which means it wasn't curling, which means maybe it was overthrown.
The hack weight was the call.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably she threw board, though. I mean, she definitely removed that rock with a vengeance.
Yeah.
It went out fast, so, yeah. Anyway.
Here we are.
Huge advantage for Team Godsland right
with
now
hammer.
with the yellow rock up there. This blue rock in the 8-foot offset can be run up at any time. I mean, obviously, yes, by either team, but it is your rock, so it is in your advantage. So she's just going to try and come around here now and sit 3.
Biggest thing about this is to try to stay above the tee line.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to give the advantage back to Team Boland by coming deep here. And I think it might be. No, good shot. Very good shot. So there is a double available on these 2 blues, though, Heather. A tricky little double, mind you. It's edge on edge with the guard. But you're not trying to hit the nose. So that's the good news for Team Boland, is they have an opportunity here.
See what the weight choice is here for this double. Tapping her shoulder. I don't know what that means, but I'd be more interested in having my shooter stick around.
I'd like the nose hit here, actually.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Take the back one if you want, instead of the side one.
That's right. If it overcurls, it's not terrible.
Pretty good shot.
I'm happy with that. If I'm
I agree. I mean, she didn't remove the back one. She
got a little
pushed
unlucky
it.
there.
Yeah, she pushed it away. I don't know that this back one. I mean, it might count at the end, but you don't pay a whole lot of attention to that or the yellow one that's sitting over in the corner at this point when there's a guard up front. So this is a tough little shot for Brooke. She doesn't have much ice here. I don't know. I didn't see the weight call. I hope for her sake it's a hack weight shot, because you do really want to get to the nose of this.
That's right. And
you don't want to move your own off of the 4-foot here. So
the pro side miss here would be to touch the guard.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you could ever get a piece of this blue shooter underneath that guard, it'd be a beautiful shot too. So Sarah is sweeping really hard on this shot, Heather. I see. Oh no! Just a tiny little rub. Those ones you hate.
Wow.
Those ones you hate. If you're going to move the guard, you really want to chunk it, but they just got a little rub, and
it looked to be a well thrown rock.
I think
Good
so.
weight choice.
Yeah. Just rolled over the top of
Just
the yellow
missed it.
one. She didn't move it at all, which I think in the end is probably good, because you certainly didn't want to poke it underneath the guard either. So anyway, tough shot there, but not quite executed. But to your point, pro side miss is take the guard, and that's what they got.
So Laura's being asked to play a freeze, I believe. Can't see any of this blue one to remove it on this straight or ice.
I like this call. She could have played her own. She could have tapped her own up, but that yellow rock is in such a beautiful place for Team Boland. Not moving it at this point is not a bad shot, and this is a very nice shot by Laura. Now she's got way to remove that blue rock from either side. So, and we talk about momentum swings, and wasn't that just a huge momentum swing there? Those just two shots, a little tick on the front by Aaron and a nice freeze by Laura, and it puts Team Boland back in the driver's seat on this end.
So Brooke indicating hack weight, hoping to get a little bit of an inside flop.
Yep.
They're going to be coming close to this center guard if this shot is made well.
I like backline weight here, Heather. I don't know that you need to play hack weight. Do you really need to remove that yellow rock, or can you just punch it into the back four?
I agree. Heavy draw.
Yeah. And make sure you keep your shooter where you want it to go, and that you have to take every chance you can to not move your blue rock off of the button. The last thing they want to do is poke this into the back four, pack their own blue rock. You don't want to move that into the back four. So I hear some hurry hards out there. So I think we've got. Yep, we do. We have a little tick. That's 2 ticks from Aaron. And now what does Sarah do? She could throw the guard back up.
It's an interesting little situation because you can lie 3, but your Brooke is breathing a sigh of relief that there's no guards and it's relatively easy 1.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's a gamble to put the guard up on an opponent's rock. You miss it either bid on the line and you're giving them a chance to lie 2 behind the guard you just put
Yeah.
there.
I mean, ideally, the guard replacement would have to be exactly where it was. You need to split the center line with this guard so that your 2 yellow rocks are still accessible to be pushed in.
Yeah, and I don't know Sarah Boland very well, but what I do know of her, I think her tendency is to lean toward a hit.
Seems to be today, too.
And this call is no exception. There's no discussion about a guard.
No, I didn't see any discussion about a guard either.
And like we said, there's nothing wrong with this call. There's an opportunity to lie 3. It's tough to lie 3. Tough for your shooter to.
Your shooter's going to
Have
roll,
that
or
happen.
the one you're hitting is going to roll, one or the other. You can remove the blue one, but I think you're only going to be lying 2. Unless you play it quiet.
And if you're at all interested in the score on the next sheet with the other women's game, Team Curtis is up 4-1, playing the 6th end, and Vautour has hammer.
I think this really, really overcurled. Oh, not very much weight at all. So she had back 8 weight. I think she was just looking to punch the blue one into the back 8. There was no hit call, I don't think.
No.
In the meantime, so blue is still shot rock here. And Brooke has an opportunity to lie 2 now with 1 buried. So
Hard to miss this on the inside, isn't it?
oh, I hope so. Yeah.
Hard to miss this on the inside.
From this vantage point, it doesn't look like there's a hole big enough for the rock to go through. But there is.
You got a good catcher though on that second yellow rock in the 4-foot
So an intern hit
with lots of weight.
to try and get the double. Didn't curl.
No.
Did not curl. So she lies 1, but she's wide open. So Sarah will want to hit this and roll away somehow. I would like to roll under, I think, if I was her. Roll under all that yellow. But a roll away is not bad either. She can't really improve on how close she is to the button here without giving Brooke an opportunity to draw to it. So
Yeah,
I think you want to roll one way or the other.
and a discussion should be had on how much of a roll, because a flop under would be terrible.
Yeah,
to my
would.
point.
Agreed. I agree. Yeah.
You
You
want to
just
roll
give her something to draw to then.
Exactly, deep under or away, and that's two different shots. So this is going to be on Laura to make a judgment call based on how Sarah throws it and decide what roll she wants to go after.
I'm personally, I like the roll away to the left, and the reason that I say that is by rolling to the left, you can actually roll out. Yeah, well, no, maybe not. No, you want to stick. You do need to stick. You maybe don't need to be
You can be out in the
8 foot.
edge of the 8 foot. Yeah,
You need to stick there though, because you don't want to give her a double for 2.
that's right.
So you have to stick. But I don't like running it back into the blue either, which is why I like the roll away. You know, that said, we're going to take what we get here. As always, every team does. Oh, that's a nice shot. So there you go. No double, but it's an open hit. Didn't roll either way. So she's probably, in essence, made it easier for Brooke because she doesn't have to negotiate anything. She doesn't have to outdraw 4 shots. So she's got an open hit here, and she's really got to move this in order to score. Doesn't have to move it much, a couple of inches, but she looks like she's got hit ice here. Tricky little shot.
Our sweeper's off and on this, which is usually a good sign.
Sarah's been switching sides.
Very
There you
nice.
go. Nice shot. Nice shot, but in the end, not what Sarah was looking for. Sarah Boland would have liked to make that shot a little bit harder for Brooke, but as we go, it's 3-3 after 6. Brooke was successful in taking her point, and we'll be right back. So, welcome back, everyone. We're just dealing with a few technical issues here in the background while we will let you watch the first few rocks of this game. And looks like we've got some guards in play and some rocks behind the tee line, Heather. Not perfect by any means, but rocks in play.
Rocks in play. That's a win. But certainly Boland would prefer to have seen those rocks ahead of the tee line.
I think so, because, she's pigeonholed herself, I think, here by being deep. But in the meantime, as I say that,
And
the Godsland
uncharacteristic-
team is letting her off the hook here by
Yeah.
throwing it through the rings.
Sarah's had a really strong game, I would say, up to this point.
I think
but,
so, yeah.
Unfortunate miss there on that one.
So we're, right now, Beth is really going to want to take advantage of that miss and put this top 4 if she can. I say pulling a comparison or a little saying from Colleen Jones's playbook.
Christmas tree.
She wants the Christmas
I
tree.
knew what you were going to
Yep.
say there.
So I think those that are fans that are watching know what Christmas treeing is. Unfortunately, not successful, but
Another Colleenism. She had a
Yes.
titch. She was a titch inside.
yeah, that was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Colleen's into the coaching foray now. I see her son's team, I think, is representing Nova Scotia at the Briar this year. If I am, I think I'm
Yes.
correct in saying they won their provincials.
I noticed that too. Yeah. So good for her.
A number of teams have been declared actually this past weekend, and the rest of them are all going to be declared this weekend. And anyone who's interested can find that information on the Curling Canada website.
I saw Carrie Galusha, record 22nd trip to the Scotties, I believe,
Yeah.
with her daughter.
Yes, she's going with her daughter this year, which is pretty
Yeah.
special. I think her daughter Sydney's 15, I think I read.
Okay.
So she's quite young to be going to the Scotties, but of course, a couple of years ago they released the age requirement, the minimum age requirement, and junior curlers can actually compete at the Scotties level now.
So that wasn't a bad shot by Aaron Porter, a pound heavy. But Sarah, who has hammer, is forced to play a defensive shot, clearing up the front, as opposed to an offensive shot as a result of what Aaron just did.
Yeah, I mean, she could draw, but I wouldn't. I like the clearing shot. She's got a couple of yellow rocks in the rings. She needs to remove this blue rock that's in the top 12 as badly as she needs to remove the one that's in the back 4. I think the one that's in the top 12 is going to cause her more grief. It's really hard to get around that and be buried. And that's a bit of bad luck. She did clear the front a little, but left a lot of blue rocks in play. It was a bit of a shift of momentum there, I think.
Yeah, we talk a lot about pro side misses, and I think if Beth wasn't going to make the double peel perfectly, the miss was
The other side.
the other side.
The other side.
Her shooter wouldn't have been in the center line, and she wouldn't have jammed
No.
their rock, the opponent rock, in the rings.
So an in-turn come-around draw for Erin Porter here. A chance to do better with the second shot. She was a bit deep on her first one, but this is an excellent opportunity for Team Godsland to put some pressure on Team Boland here.
Now, if I'm Team Hill, I'm not panicking. You just got to clear the front.
Yep. Play the same clearing shot exactly. This time you're running your own in, so there's less risk, and there's no yellow rocks on the 4-foot. So whatever you can pick off the 4-foot is a bonus. But this is definitely makeable. Triple material here for Heather if she hits it, or for Laura if she hits it just right. Not an easy shot, mind you, but doable. And Laura can certainly throw weight, so it's the shooter can make this shot for sure.
What a pistol.
And can I call it, or can I call
Yes.
it? Good shot, Laura.
Proud big
Funny,
sister
yeah,
moment.
proud big sister moment. She made almost the exact same shot last night and did the same thing. Just removed all three of the opponent's rocks and just changed the momentum of the end around completely. And she just did that again. So what a honey of a shot that was. Good for her. Not out of the woods yet quite, because we've got staggered guards up there. Brooke could certainly just draw around. She's lying 1 or 2, and it's difficult for us to say whether the blue rock at the top 12 or the yellow rock at the back is shot. So they've elected to come around these staggered guards. I like this call from Brooke. It's a bit aggressive, but
Makes me think the
I
yellow
think
is
it's-
definitely shot rock, eh?
it could be.
Otherwise, I would see her walking up and hitting.
She did look at the run, the yellow double. She did
Okay.
indicate with her broom that it's it was a possible shot to play, but I don't see it being advantageous. I think this draw is a better shot for her to call. Needs to be made, but doesn't it all? Don't they all?
Yeah.
This is very close. They're not touching it, so does maybe a bit heavy, but nope.
Very
it is-
nice.
It is not heavy. It's a beautiful shot.
That all important above the tee line.
Yes.
And
Buried behind staggered shots, and
Yeah.
now this is all Sarah has, really, isn't it? Clear the front.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You can follow
She's
it
gotta-
in, but
yeah,
she may not be shot. And in order to be shot, she might be exposed.
to my mind, you clear the front. They waste a rock replacing the front,
Yeah.
potentially. So another chance for Laura to throw that big weight.
Yep. So she can make this double and roll over to the right. She needs to get her shooter out of the way as well, though, Heather. So you don't really want to leave your own rock there. Make the double, yes, but you don't want to leave your own if you can. It's not an easy double to make with the roll away, but it's doable. There we go.
Nice pair.
Definitely.
She probably would have liked a little bit more of a roll away than that, but
She's
Brooks-
left herself she's left the team in good shape, though. I mean, those are two really important shots. And the reason that I say that, I mean, obviously the triple was important, but this roll away was important. She's left the blue rock belonged to Brooke exposed. It's in such a place where a hit and roll is available to her. So for Brooke to guard against that is not easy, because if she throws a second one in short of it, it becomes another guard. If she throws a second one in there deeper than her current rock, it's backing. It's tough. She's got to guard, really. And now she's guarding for her life. If this yellow rock in the back is number 2, she's guarding for her life here. So not easy. Nice shots by Laura. Really, really key to this end for sure. So in the other ladies' game, not sure what happened. We did hear a couple of nice shots carry. So she did do something pretty spectacular over there. She is, however, still down 2 without hammer. So it's 4-2 for Team Curtis on sheet 5. And Team Curtis has hammer in the 7th end. They're just beginning the 7th.
maybe a pound heavy for what Brooke would have liked there. It did seem like she was trying that come around.
I think so. And maybe she didn't want to completely bury that shooter so that she could use it to run up. That would have been a good call, and it just didn't get the curl. Or, like you say, it was a pound heavy. Left Sarah Boland with an opportunity to make this double, and sit two, and puts her in a good position to get her two in the seventh end. We'll see how it works out for her.
And not sure how many people are actually listening and watching us, but one with a vested interest is Kelly Sharp, who
Yeah.
Laura's filling in for at third position. And Kelly just shared with us that Laura made 2 raised triples in back-to-back games. I think I'll just stay in bed. Laura's got this. So I know no one's cheering louder than Laura for Kelly to feel better and get back in the game, but Kelly acknowledging nice shots made there by
That's
her,
great. That's great.
her replacement.
And speaking of missing players, so we did have some inside information that Camille apparently was working last night. So she wasn't able to play this morning. She didn't get off work until 8 o'clock. And if you're a shift worker and you work until 8 o'clock, you don't want to be going into a 3-hour curling game at 9. So rest, Camille, and she will be back this afternoon. And, it's a good point to be made here, Heather, too. These girls are, working. Some of them are working moms. And curling is their happy place, yes, but it's not an all or nothing like it is for some of the teams in Canada who are able to do it for a living.
That's right. You would think that Sarah Boland was doing it for a living by that shot.
Wasn't that a beauty?
It was a nice shot
And
made.
she just pushed the blue one out far enough to
Yeah.
make her back yellow one count. Well,
But
we
you're
think
right.
it counts. We're assuming it's number 2 over the top blue one.
You're absolutely right, though. There's lots of compromise and sacrifice on behalf of all the players out there and their families. So it's a labor of love, as they say.
So, in speaking of, a lot of them can't do this without the help of their sponsors. And so we'll take a second here while the girls are having a discussion to talk to you a little bit about the team sponsors. And Team Boland would like to say thank you very much to their sponsors for their support through the year. Pinnacle Engineering Limited, Elliott Group, Get Cracking, Atlantic Offshore Medical Services, Steers Insurance, and Signal Property Management. So thank you very much, Team Boland, on behalf of Team Boland, to all of their sponsors who, like I said, they can't do this without your help and support. So good for you guys.
And for Team Godsland, they have sponsors as well. Hardline Ice Pad is one of their main sponsors, as is Bud the Spud and Barn Fine Eggs. So thank you to their sponsors on behalf of Team Godsland.
So full-time jobs and sponsors and family and all kinds of support required for these women to go after their dreams. So we have had some discussion here, and this looks like a draw, I suspect, around to back 4. T-line back 4?
There's not much room for error on this shot.
Not really,
but
no.
she's
This is very wide. Tells me it's maybe a bit heavy. Certainly not curling enough, but a bit deep. A bit deep. Ooh, ouch. I don't know about that, Heather. Would have been easy to say, but it would have been better a little bit short. Even if she's short of the rings, this has given her an opportunity for possible 3 if she can tap this back far enough.
She seemed to indicate she'd be happy with the 2.
And maybe this back rock is not shot. We don't know.
That's right.
We were not able to tell.
I'm certainly not throwing so hard to tap that through that I'm missing the chance at 2.
It does look like from from the overhead, it's a difficult shot to tell, but if you look at the printing in the 12-foot, the yellow rock in the back does look like it's number 3 right now, and the blue one
In the top
in
12,
the top 12
looks
is
fourth.
does look like number 4. So if Sarah was able to tap this blue shot through the small hole in the back, she may be able to get 3, but it is a little bit of a tricky maneuver to get it through that hole and not move your own yellow. So, maybe she is just drawing for 2 and happy to have it.
Nice weight, nice judgment by the sweepers.
Mm-hmm.
Nice 2 points for Sarah Boland to take a 5-3 lead.
And the first lead of the game for her, I think, if I'm looking at the score correctly. No, she did have the steal of 2 in the 4th end. So 5-3 for Team Boland over Team Godsland going into the 8th end, and we'll be right back. I don't have it. That's okay. So Team Boland called this rock top 4. Nice placement. Nice placement of the first shot there by Sarah. I like the call. I think she's up 2. She doesn't. She's happy, I think, to have try and force play into the house.
Well, by calling her first one in, she's making the shots for Adrian a little easier.
Yeah.
If she calls Adrian's first one in the rings, you have to think that Brooke would potentially come around it, and then Adrian is asked to play a freeze.
Yeah.
In this instance, Adrian is asked to play a guard with a bigger margin of error.
Lesser margin of error, you mean?
More room.
Yeah. Yeah. No, is it lesser? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So now Adrian is trying to put a guard. Or is she coming right in again?
This is
coming
not,
right in.
yeah, this is not light.
No.
I think the guard was the call, but this is the pro side miss.
That's not bad. You need to get to the face of it, though, to the nose. Try not to set up a double here. Now, if Brooke is looking for her 2, oh, she's going to put up a second quarter guard.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, you could look at the 2 yellow rocks in the rings being grouped together as
one shot.
One shot.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I'm a fan of 2 guards. Yes, I think in the men's game, you got to make the 2 guards because you got to make that double peel as hard as you can. You have to have as much space as you can find, and I get it. But at this level of women's curling, I don't know if you need the second guard. I just don't, and we're not getting it, unfortunately. Bit of a miss there.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan in the women's game at our level here. I mean, Rachel Holman, yeah, probably you need your double guards against her.
Sure.
But I also think that the first guard wasn't well placed, so it might not be a case of 2 guards as opposed to trying the guard again in a better position to be able to get around it.
Yeah. So her first guard, you think, should have been a little shorter?
A little higher.
Yeah, a little higher.
We're not getting that hard finish on rocks, so to come around that and bury is difficult.
So Beth's been asked to throw guard on these two yellow rocks now that are belonging to Sarah Boland's team in the top 8 and top 4. It's a nice shot. Hard to guard both of them, so she's guarded the middle. Unfortunately, by guarding the middle, I think she's left either shot available to Brooke to hit and roll.
And it is a little long, too. I think
Yeah.
if you could pick up the rock and actually just plant it where you needed to, you'd bring it at least a broom length deeper. I would like to say good morning to another of our viewers.
Okay.
Mr. Fred Fox in British Columbia. Good morning, Fred. It's only 7:30 in the morning out your way, but he's watching the games, and his daughter Kirsten is playing in the British Columbia Provincial Playdowns, which are happening this week as
Oh,
well.
wow. Okay.
So we've got coast to coast represented here.
So this is a come around freeze attempt by Sarah McNeil Lambswood. Nice weight. Good shot. Good shot.
Yeah, what do you think of this call, Kathy?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think from Sarah's perspective, this is the only rock that's really going to get her in trouble because there's still two rocks. You know, Sarah McNeil Lambswood's shot was really nice, but a little bit of a bounce off of that yellow one would have been better for her, I think, because this is now this is going to take the Godsland team 2 shots to get rid of those yellows, I think. But unfortunately, Beth was a bit wide on that one. It just didn't curl, and because it was a peel, it had a fair amount of weight. So she's left the corner guard. So all that argument was a mute point.
It can be coincidence, but I also find when I used to play, sometimes you get your 2 points, you're working so hard to get that 2 points, and then all of a sudden you're so busy breathing a bit of a sigh of relief that you've broken your concentration just enough to see a couple of misses. Adrian came in deep on a guard attempt.
Yep.
Missed one of her 2 rocks, and now with Beth's flash, she's missed one of her 2 rocks. So,
yeah, and I think this is a quiet kind of a shot for Erin. I don't think she's playing a lot of weight. She's trying to tap this blue, poke the yellow out into the open, and I'd assume roll under the other blue corner guard if she can.
changing up the angles.
Yeah,
moving
she
both
did.
rocks ahead of the tee. Nice shot.
So she did move it. She's left a blue double, I think. She left a blue double? Maybe not. I think she's got enough of it buried underneath the center guard. I can't see because Sarah's in the way, but she did, yes. Bit of edge on edge. She may not be no. Tricky little, tricky leave, snooker shot, I guess,
Yeah.
by Erin there. Sarah doesn't have much.
Would you ever come in with the other turn?
I wonder if you would, because honestly, I feel like this is just jamming on something yellow all
Let
day.
Brooke make this shot
Yeah.
instead of making it 4, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I think so. Maybe you come around and try and jiggle your rocks around a little bit. Or, you could also try and corner freeze the inside of this blue one instead.
I don't see good happening with this shot.
I do not either. Not with any kind of weight. As you said, I don't see any good happening with this shot, and that's exactly what happened. I think she might have got it, in Sarah's defense, although I didn't like the call, I don't think that Laura's rock curled as much as they were hoping. So she jammed it, unfortunately. Didn't remove her own, but
She got a little lucky on the angles at
Yeah.
least that are left here now for Godsland. They can't easily remove that yellow rock with this shot. But be it the call or the execution, it's safe to say that of all 3 players that have thrown so far for Boland, there's been a miss.
And I think that for Brooke here now, a little tap on that yellow one, if she can get it to curl, is, just change the angles here a little bit. Puts her in a pretty good spot. She's got lots of opportunity here now with blue. Needed to curl a little bit more, I think.
Now, I feel like hitting that top blue that's in the 8-foot by mistake is disaster.
I agree. I would hit the one in the 4-foot for sure.
So how do you hit the one in the 4-foot without flirting with the one in the 8-foot?
You can't. You have to flirt with it. I don't see an option, though.
Do you guard?
Well, they're not shot. And there's no way to get two. I mean, Godsland has last rock here, and it's a lonely yellow rock in the 4-foot. And they're not shot. Unless you remove this blue rock that's in the just biting the top 4, I see an easy deuce for Godsland, which you don't want to make it easy. And like I said, that yellow rock is a bit lonely right now. I'd be hitting something.
A lot of weight coming down the sheet, so
I think a lot of weight is okay. It's the line. A lot of weight is going to keep it straight, as long as she's not wide. And she's a bit wide, but I think she's going to be okay.
mission accomplished.
Well, I think so.
Remove the blue.
Yeah. So there's still, blue is still lying 1 and 3. But I don't see this yellow one in the 4-foot sticking around too long. This blue rock is
Playing a split, I believe.
she doesn't have, I think she's trying to get it to come in contact with the yellow, but she doesn't have all of it.
No.
She only has a sliver, so it can't be a lot of weight coming at this.
Now, we did talk about the fact that that yellow guard is high in the house. So lots of room.
This is top 4, top 8 weight at
Yes.
most, so.
Lots of room past that guard to keep curling.
Yep. I'm not sure she improved her lot here, but maybe. Yellow is shot now.
That blue-blue combination, I think, will remove the yellow on the next shot.
Which I think is why I would be guarding that.
That's right.
Yeah. I would not be going at it from this angle. I don't see this as a win at all. I see that blue-blue combination as being trouble. The top 2 blues, I mean, to your point. That's trouble.
The only shot I see here is the guard on that blue-blue combination.
I agree. I mean, you can hit that, but she's still going to play the blue-blue combination and lie 3 when it's over. So
Even a freeze in this pocket is not a guaranteed.
no, because it ever rubs off, you're giving her a double to lie 4, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to leave your shooter in the wide open here. This is a very tricky shot, and also, even if you line it up so that the 2 yellow can be removed somehow.
I'm not sure where the perfect placement is.
There's no perfect placement. You can't put it anywhere where it's going to be helpful.
And yet a huge margin for error on the line for the guard with the other turn. It's one of those make go,
Yeah, I think the only shot really on this side is to remove the blue rock altogether and roll away. I don't like it as the option. I don't like it as the best option all around, but from this side of the ice, if you're wanting to play a shot on this side of the ice, I think that's the only shot to play. I don't like the draw. I don't like the freeze on the top blue. I don't like the freeze on the back blue. I don't,
If she touches the...
Changes the angle here, maybe, but she didn't.
No.
Oh, unfortunately, she set herself up.
She didn't miss by much, and it's still a disaster if you're Sarah Boland.
Absolutely, yeah. And it comes down to playing the wrong side of the ice, Heather. And like I said, I think the only shot to play over there was just a straight up removal of the blue rock that was on the 4-foot and then roll away. And yes, this shot, this double blue is still going to be there, but the one that's in the 4-foot is not. Now, this is almost impossible to miss.
Exactly.
Both these yellow shots, as long as Brooke can come in contact with the top blue rock in the top 8-foot, in any way, shape, or form, these two yellows are gone. She doesn't even have to hit it on the nose. She can hit any piece of it, any piece that she can see. It's a matter of how much momentum she transfers to it, really. This is one of those shots where you say you can't miss it, but you can.
Yeah.
But it's set up for her. So she's just got to take an extra second and make sure she throws it right. You don't want to miss this shot. You don't want to take away whatever opportunities you have. And this is a golden opportunity for Brooke Godsland right now. She didn't get what she wanted out of it, though, did she? Thought that yellow rock could go.
I couldn't agree more.
Like to see a replay on that. I'd like to see a replay on that. What's wrong with this technology that we don't have any replays? I think, and I'm joking, guys, our technology is quite good. That was an unfortunate situation, I think, for Brooke, because I really believe that shot was makeable. They maybe needed to look at the angles a little bit more. How much of it did we need to hit? Did we actually need to hit? Maybe Thinner would have done a better job. It looked so obvious to us from up here, too, in her defense. I thought that was a very makeable shot. And she still has it.
I think she's still happy.
It's still there, and it's still there for 5 this time if this shot doesn't do what she wants it to do. So this is a very important shot for Sarah Boland. Now, the angles have changed a little bit, so she nestles in and sits right on top of this blue rock here in the corner of the 4-foot. I think she'll be safe. But it's got to nestle right in there, Heather.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. Personally, I'm still kind of
going towards the guard. Yeah,
guard on the
I like the
turn.
guard shot. I do not think this is the right play. I think, but if you're playing over here, you got to nestle it right in there.
Well, she was close on her first one, so you have to think that she's going to be close on this one.
You got to give yourself a chance here, though. You got to move that blue rock off the 4-foot and leave 2 yellows as number 1 and 3 at worst.
Seems to have overcurled that
I
blue
think
rock.
so. If she just rubs the top, maybe she'll get what she wants out of this. So she's changed the angles on the blue rocks, though, at the top of the house. In that shot is not really there anymore. The double blue run is not really, or no, I don't think it, well, maybe it is actually. So our overhead shows that if you hit the top blue, it might tick the yellow on the 4-foot, off the 4-foot, but it's not going to transfer a lot of weight.
We've got our first time out call to the game, and we've got Corey Shue as the coach of Team Godsland. Probably, maybe, going to make his way to the ice. Hard to say.
I don't know if this is going to transfer enough weight onto the rock that's in the 4-foot. From this angle, it doesn't look like it.
Brooke is capable of playing lots of weight, so you're right that the angles don't lend themselves to having a whole lot of weight transfer off the first into the second rock. But
And she doesn't have a double off of the yellow on the outside. The yellow that's in the at 2 o'clock. Sorry, at 10 o'clock. There's not enough room between the yellow and the blue to get in sort of do the tick double on the 2 yellows. So that's not an option for Brooke.
But the yellow on the outside could serve as a bit of a catcher or a ricochet
For the
for the blue-blue combination.
It can. I think the question isn't whether or not the blues all stay. I think the question is, can you transfer enough weight into the top blue to the second blue to remove the yellow, because it's not really a good angle.
And I will say this, and I don't mean any disrespect to either team. I'm up here, and it's I've been down there. It's way easier to be up here. But this is the second time that Brooke is playing a shot that Sarah had an opportunity to guard twice and didn't.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't know if it's makeable, but yeah. And it's not. It was not. So the shot to play, I guess, would have been a quieter shot to come in and hit the blue onto the yellow on the nose for 2.
Yeah,
Shot
I
for 3
think
wasn't there.
I think Brooke Godsland threw a nice shot, and the angles just weren't in
They
her
weren't.
favor.
No.
And Sarah's a bit lucky that they were in her favor.
Yeah, she is.
And here we are.
And I don't think that she could have, I don't think Brooke could have made that shot any better by hitting less of the top one. I just think the angles weren't there.
I agree.
Yeah. So a big steal of 1 for Team Boland in the 8th end, and she's once again brought herself back to the even ends and scoring, and she's up 3 points now. So we'll be right back with end number 9. So welcome back, everyone. Bit of a shift of momentum there in the 7th end, Heather. Big steal of 1 by Team Boland. Didn't see that coming.
In the 8th, yeah.
Sorry, in the 8th end, yeah.
No, the angles are difficult to. They can be your friend or your enemy.
They certainly can, and I think Sarah got a bit fortunate by ticking that blue rock in the top of the 12-foot over to take that angle away. It ended up being your savior in the end. Because as we were discussing during the break, we both still truly believe that the best shot that Sarah could have thrown was the guard on those two run-ups. But
Well, often an indicator of what the best shot is when the opponent can't get to the hack fast enough to throw the shot you left them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So in another turn of events over on the next ladies sheet, we've had some big things happening by Carrie Vaturin team. They've stolen 1 in the 7th end to tighten up the score to be down by 1 And unfortunately for Stacy Curtis, that wasn't the end of it. She just missed her draw against 3 and gave up another steal of 3. And so now Carrie Vitur is up 2 points on Team Curtis after 8 ends. So she's got even ends in her favor and 2 points in her favor. And now Stacy Curtis has got some work to do to prevent her team from going 0-2 at the top of this tournament.
That's right, down 6-4, playing the 9th with.
A similar situation here for Team Godsland, who, fortunately for Team Godsland, they are 2-0 in the standings and leading the pack. So they can afford a loss, but they won't want to take it lying down for sure. So a couple of corner guards and a nice hit and roll, even though she's only lying the 3rd shot. She's in good shape here. She's in good shape to score 2 at least.
There's rocks in play.
Yeah.
She's got hammer.
And the yellow rocks are wide open.
And T-line are behind.
Mm-hmm. That was a bit of an overcurl, I think, on Beth's part, but a good audible. She moves the guard and rolls into the rings.
Yeah, Sarah seemed to
pretty good.
indicate remove the one in the rings or take the guard, either way. But sticking around is, I think, of benefit here too.
It is. It's in
Where it is.
well, exactly. Yeah. It's in the top of the house, which is nice, and I think that's where you want to be. And I think with the other, I think if I was Brooke, I'd be going around that corner guard again, though, or replacing it.
Yep, you certainly don't want to be rolling out here.
So whatever you're playing,
Always a risk when you play.
you have to
weight.
stick exactly.
Mhm.
It's a good shot. No double opportunity because of the placement of the corner guard. So she's in good shape to get 2, but it's a long end. You know, you've got to make every hit and roll just exactly right. Otherwise, the other team gets an opportunity for a double. Or if you roll out a single, because there's no protection on the second rock, which again goes back to put the corner guard up there. You should use it.
Sweeper's getting a workout on this shot again.
It's in that tricky little area where it doesn't curl. It curls a lot. I mean, Laura was fortunate in that she was able to remove it. She did hit enough of it to remove it. And now Brooke is going to draw because of that rollout. She's not feeling as threatened as she was, I think. Well, I shouldn't say she's going to draw. She's looking at the option of drawing, which is what I like. We don't have an overhead camera at the other end, so we're really not able to see who is shot, the back yellow or the front blue.
If you're watching at home, you can have a.
It's behind her, depending on the. We can't see the back
As soon
yellow.
as Brooke moves, we'll be able to see
Yeah.
a little.
She went the open side.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Sets up a double on the top blue, doesn't it? I mean, it's maybe not going to be an easy double. Really hard to say who was shot there, but either way, it's not going to matter in a second because it's wide open, and we didn't make the shot to lie 1 or 2. So a good chance here for Laura to make up for the miss and stick this one to lie 2 and put the pressure back on Team Godsland.
Oh. It's not looking good.
Oh, no, that's really bad luck. Just overcurled a little bit, which is not, that sometimes happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seemed like she might have gotten a little inside on that right away. The sweepers swept that
Both
right
those
away.
rocks belonged to Laura really curled hard, didn't they?
They did, yeah. Yeah, not a shot she's going to be overly happy about.
No. So call here is to hit this yellow and roll in, and I guess what's happening here is Brooke is trying to bring her other two rocks back into play. The back blue is shot, but the front blue is number 4, I think. So she's hitting one of the yellows to try and give herself every opportunity for 3 here. She needs to roll in order to be shot over the yellow that's behind the corner guard now.
Nice shot. Does leave a double.
Yeah, it does.
You're always going to leave some sort of double, I believe, when you're trying to count 3.
So Sarah's looking, okay, so she's just told us that the yellow rock is shot over the top blue rock. So right now, Team Godsland is line 2.
So we've got a couple of Sarahs out on the ice, Sarah Boland and Sarah McNeil Lambswood. We've got a Sarah watching the game as well, Sarah Day, former teammate of mine. So hello to Sarah. 3 teammates of mine on the ice, my sister Laura. I've also curled with Beth Hamilton and Brooke Godsland. And I briefly...
And Jessica Wiseman.
No, in our game at least. Yeah, yeah. And I briefly curled with Sarah Boland before she moved to Gander. Yes, Jessica Wiseman's out there. Erica Trickett I've played with. So lots of former teammates out there. So a bit of an exchange of open hits here. My guess is that Brooke would like to see a little bit of a roll.
Still a nice setup, I think, for Team Godsland. This is going to be an important hit and stick for Sarah Boland.
Yes. Hit and stick or a little hit and flop behind that overlap wouldn't be terrible.
That wouldn't be terrible, would it? And you called it, my friend. Very nice shot there by Sarah Boland. One might call it a game saver.
Well, yeah, it's it was well played.
That is not going to be an easy shot for Brooke Godsland to deal with. I don't know how she does it.
I think she's got to
Chip her own, maybe. Chip her. Pardon me. If she takes her own blue, she's got to get her shooter over here underneath the guard in order to take away any opportunity for Sarah to lie 2. Now, Sarah can always just draw to lie 2. But it does give her, it does open up the access in the back to the yellow one if she...
or is this last rock?
Is it?
I think so, my friend.
I missed a couple of rocks
Yeah.
while I was choking on my oatmeal raisin cookie.
It was a good cookie.
It was a good cookie, yeah. My mother would tell me not to talk with my mouth full and it wouldn't have happened, but there it goes, right?
If I'm Brooke, you have to applaud the roll was made, take your one, and try to steal 2. Steal of 2 is not impossible. In fact, I looked at some stats before the game, and Team Godsland has the most steals of any team that has played
Okay.
so far. So, she's going to try that really thin double for 3. Not a bad shot. Low percentage shot, but if it's made,
It's a tough shot.
yeah.
Definitely a tough shot. But it is her chance to get back in this game with only one end left to play. And if she gives up a point here, she's probably going to lose. But if she takes a point here, the statistics suggest she's probably going to lose anyway. So
Yeah.
maybe you put all your eggs in this basket and say, this is my chance to get back in the game. And she took the front, unfortunately, so it's a steal of 1, which puts Team Boland now up 7-3 after 9 ends of play. Down 4, coming home without last rock is not a bad place to be if you're Team Sarah Boland.
Yeah. No, up 4 is awesome. Anytime. Last rock or no last rock, I'll take it.
Yeah, I would too. When you're up 4 points, you don't really care, do you?
No.
So we'll be going into the 10th end here to give you the play-by-play, and we'll be right back. So, Heather, here we go.
Yes, we had our first intentional throw through of the game by Team Boland. Gotta love that as a lead.
I always did. I didn't play lead for very long, but early in my curling career I did, and I never minded throwing it through.
No, same here. I started as a lead as well. Not ideal when you're down points. You need to
No.
get a bunch. You need guards in play. But that's been kind of the story of the back half for Goslin's team.
This is, yeah, that's an unfortunate shot. Honestly, their odds of winning or even tying this game are pretty low anyway, but it's not going to happen now with the rock coming into the 4-foot. But, not to put all of the blame on Sarah McNeil, that's not the point here. It's just as a lead, when you're down points, it's really important to make that draw. She'll be mad at herself, there's no question. Now, 4-enders have been had out here. This is not impossible. It does look highly improbable, but not impossible.
If one was optimistic, they could see that rock in the 12-foot as a guard.
I'd use it as guard. Oh, Sarah's just totally disgusted with herself right now, isn't she?
Yeah.
You can tell by the way she walked away from that rock that she's not very happy. And
No.
that's the sin. I feel badly for her. It's just, at the end of the day, she's going to be really mad at herself, but she cannot take the blame for being down 4.
That's
Sorry,
right.
being down 4. At this point, it's a team game and it's a team effort, and there it is.
And I'm of the belief that playing with 3 can be advantageous. The pros outweigh the cons to playing with 4, but we're seeing in Sarah, who's a well-conditioned athlete by the looks of her, we're seeing some of the cons there with playing with 3. She's got to be tired as the only sweeper out there for the majority of the rocks.
Yeah, she does. Well, unfortunately, that didn't curl enough for it to impact the freeze that she was trying to make. So it's an open, an open hit for Sarah here. And we are rapidly running out of rocks in this end if you're Team Godsland. It's a good shot by Beth. I think, you don't really want to be poking your rocks into the back four, but at this point they're making some progress. They're getting their yellow rock out of play eventually, which is what they're aiming to do.
Eliminate
yeah.
blue rocks.
I don't think it matters to them at this point too much because they're up 4 points.
So in the other women's game on at the moment, Curtis versus Vautour, Curtis scored 2 in the 9th to tie the game. So Vautour has hammer in the all-important 10th end, tied up.
A good recovery for Curtis' team, having given up a steal in 7 and a steal in 8. You had to kind of get your druthers about you and get some points back. So good for them. Do have a vested interest in seeing Jessica win the game. In the meantime, she is my daughter, so I'm happy to see it. But they still have some work to do. So a win here by Team Boland, not to get ahead of ourselves, but it's not looking very good for Team Godsland to be able to recover from that 4 points. A win here really evens up the playing field a little bit. It gives the only team, or I should say, it gives the Godsland team their first loss, and they were at 2-0 at the top of the heap. So other teams will be happy to see Team Boland win this. However, it does put Team Boland in a 2-0 situation, having won last night and again this morning. So they'll be the team that people will be looking to knock off the top of the heap. A very nice shot there by Laura to end the game, Heather. She makes the double, takes her own as well, and it's handshakes all around. So a big win here by Sarah Boland this morning over Team Godsland. And as I said, that changes the leaderboard a little bit, puts Team Boland at the top at 2-0. And I believe she will be the only team without a loss. Nope, I'll take that back. Megan Blanford, I think, has only won. She won last night, and she has yet to play her second game. So, yeah, that's it for Heather and I for today.
Yeah, that's it for me for the weekend, I think. But you never know. I might make another appearance, but I've appreciated the opportunity.
It's been fun.
My first time back in the club since last year's provincial playdowns doing this with you. So all the best to all the teams out there for the rest of the weekend.
So thanks for joining us this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have 2 more games streamed for you this afternoon at 2:30 p.m. and we will see you again at that time. And throughout the weekend, please stay with us. And this is Kathy Cunningham, Heather Strong saying, have a great day.